Everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Inquisition. We'll just get straight into it this weekend. I am myself. Casey is engaged with other commitments, and Simon is working, doing about 500 hours this week. So it's just me tonight, folks. So you'll just have to deal with my stupid accent, my mighty accent, and my ugly face for once. No pens today. Right, Matchawer, thanks for joining, mate. Hope you're well. Alright, Comrade Creed, hope you're well as well, mate. ADHD Mini's, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. Always a pleasure, never a chore. And how is life in sunny Creed today, comrade? We're having fun down in the trenches. And how are you, ADHD? Yeah, all good today, mate. Hope you're living your best life today. It is fucking Baltic here in Donegal. It is -2 already. I've had to fight some polar bears there just to get my son up for. So I have just sent you an invite there, Gutlord. Just add if you can, and we'll get this rock and rolling tonight. Just to remind you, folks, that on Sunday we have Duncan Rhodes, not to be confused with Duncan Holmes, which is me, but we have the mighty Duncan Rhodes coming on Sunday at 7:30. So if you have any questions, send me a DM, and if we have time, because he's only going to be on for an hour, if we have time, we'll try and get through them for you. So send me some DMs if you have any questions for Duncan. And if you have any questions in the chat tonight, then send them in the chat. As I say, I'm all myself, so I'm going to have to do 3 things at once. As always, we are sponsored by Boltstorm Wargaming, where you can get any sorts of bolts, a few storms. You can possibly get a war or 2 there, and some games as well. So, Gutlord, give me a second here. Just try and add you again. Oh, fuck me, man. The fucking Christmas decorations are absolutely mad mental. Fucking, I'm trying to put mine off until Monday. Alright, Gutlord, how you doing, mate? You well?
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, mate. It's good to finally put a spectacle face to the name, to be honest with you. Thanks for joining us, man. How are you today?
I'm alright. I had a shite day at work, but other than that, I'm all good. You look like you wrapped up ready to hibernate.
Oh, mate, it's fucking Baltic here in Donegal, man. Like, my oil's just coming on now, because we're rock and roll in Donegal. We don't go gas, we do kerosene, and we still get the old coal fires. So, yeah, it's a bit Baltic today. So, my wife crocheted me a blanket for when I go fishing. So, I just like to kind of cut about, like, wearing that all day. That's the best way, man. Here, man, thanks for taking time out of your evening tonight and joining us in the Inquisition. Apologies that Casey and Simon couldn't be here. Simon had to go into the office today, so I try and jump on. And Casey had another commitment, unfortunately, tonight that he couldn't get to. So you're just going to have to deal with me and my accent and my ugly face, which isn't as inviting as Casey's, I'm led to believe, or so I'm told.
It's all conjecture, mate. That's no problem.
So, like, usually, the way I usually kick this off is I just ask everybody, like, how did you get into Warhammer? What age were you, and what was the first mini that you painted?
Oh man, how did I get into it? This is weird. This is a really vivid memory. I was about, 10, 11, something like that. My old man took us. I'd gone into town with my dad. You were like wandering around, so town being like Birmingham, so like where I grew up. And Games Workshop was this teeny tiny pokey little shop in the Bullring. And just walked past it, and essentially, that they'd got a poster or a picture or something outside that was like an upscale picture of that RTB01, the original Space Marines box art. And to be fair, my dad was the same. We both walked past it, looked at it, were like, wow. He's just like, do you want to go and have a look? So I went in there, had a look. I was like, I want everything. Came away and I saw, because obviously it wasn't allowed anything. Fast forward on, kind of that Christmas time, got Hero Quest. Obviously, Hero Quest was advertised, got Hero Quest. We just went from there. Just kind of played that. I had one. I mean, this. I suppose this is going to make us sound proper old, but it's like before the internet. So word of mouth and knowing who else was into it to kind of like hook up with and hang about with was really hard. And there's one lad that I knew from, I've known him since nursery school actually. Like we were in the same class together at school, and he was kind of into the same sort of thing. So rather than it just being a flash in a pan of board game with Hero Quest and ending, as we got older, like 12, 13, me and him used to go to like the Games Workshop in town. Obviously mainly collected Space Marines, some plastic Imperial Guard, some plastic skeletons. We just either sit in his kitchen or ours. And yeah, the rest is history. Like badly painted stuff, mainly smashed stuff up because we were, get kind of a bit overexcited. Your imagination takes hold. Got a lot of melted Space Marines sitting in a box in Mum and Dad's loft, and that's pretty much it. And then from there, kind of, don't know, hormones, testosterone kicked in. 14, 15 was just like, yeah, this isn't for me now. Then drifted away from it, and I guess like a lot of us, kind of lockdown happened.
Yeah,
and then I don't know, lockdown and sort of reconnection with like childhood. It's like, what can I do? What can we do? So I went in the loft, had a little route about, found the old Hero Quest that I got. I think it was Midwinter Minis I saw on YouTube was painting Blackstone Fortress, which I'd like Googled and was like the 21st century version of, Hero Quest. And ordered some paints and just went from there. Like broke the seal.
And have you revisited any of your old Hero Quest figures? Have you painted any of them?
No. To be fair, I butchered most of them as a kid, and most of them have been butchered with like Airfix enamel, so they're like proper monstered. I've got like an orc that's got like bright turquoise blue boots and half of the base. So would I? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. It's just kind of, oh man, you're kind of scratching an itch there. Would I? Have I? No. But would I go back and paint some? Maybe.
You definitely should. Have you painted this mummy from Hero Quest?
Quality.
Yeah, so I definitely should, man. Just for that bit kind of reminiscing, like I've still got like my Hero Quest figures, some Space Crusade guys kicking about as well, and I'm going to say it because Casey and Simon aren't here to stop me from saying it. Still have my Battle Masters, which I believe I was probably the only person in Britain that actually had Battle Masters, because I keep mentioning it every week on fucking the chat. Like
I vaguely remember it from like the Argus catalogue and stuff, but I never had it. I've got a really, to be fair, at like the Nerd Rage Club we go to, I'll say we Three Spires Gaming is the club, and Josh runs it in Lichfield. And a couple of just the one Friday night actually, I've taken my battered old box of a Space Crusade over, and a few of us have got together and played that, and that was awesome. It was great. Still great fun.
Yeah, I've got that. My mum gave me that when I was over 2 years ago, when I was over in Scotland, and my mum gave me all that stuff to bring back, and it's just like reminiscing over it, man. So see that, like, to be honest, like, you're probably the only guest that we've actually had quite a lot of people going, oh, he's such a good guy. Like, usually when we post up a guest, like, I think you're the most popular, apart from like maybe like, no, I don't think anybody's been apart from you has been said, he is such a nice guy. So like, you're quite highly thought of with like 3D Spires and that other guy, who was it? Celestial Knights or whatever his name was. Can't remember. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name. But I was having a bit of banter back and forth with them. But I think a few people have actually been looking forward to you coming on, which is which is brilliant. Like it's so good that people are engaging with us before the guest comes on, because like they're looking forward to having not just like the bigger names coming on, but also looking forward to the other people, the normal everyday person coming on as well, which is what we're here to do. So, what are you currently painting this now?
I am. What am I? So I'm kind of a bit of a magpie about stuff. So I've got a couple of projects going at the minute. I've got one that I've got a Celestial Lions chapter that I'm kit bashing and painting, but I'm using Stormcast and lots of Stormcast as the basis for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got some of, oh god, I don't know what the models are. I don't know what are they Paladors or something like that in Age of Sigmar. I don't know, some like cavalry style Stormcast unit that I'm kit bashing. I've magnetised so I can run them either as Outriders or Thunderwolf Cavalry, as if I use Space Wolf rules. And kind of midway through painting those up. And then I've got some of the Leviathan box that I've been working on for a while. And then painting up. There's an awesome dude. Oh man, it's like Tortuga Bay game table or something. You just resin minis, sort of like old school firstborns, but upscaled to like Primaris size rather. And I bought a load of those bodies, and I've been like building some of those up as the new Jump Assault intercessors and painting them up. So, but I go through phases of this. I get like overexcited and start loads of different projects, and then just sort of run out of energy. I'm like, oh shit, I've started all this stuff. I don't know where to go now, and then stop for a bit, and then like come back to it. So.
And then when you're looking for a paint or you're looking for a head, you go, oh, that's right, I started painting this guy 4 months ago, and you get back to finishing them, and then you just never do you really?
Yeah. What are you up to then at the minute?
Well, I'm finishing off a blight drone that I started on Friday, because I was in my first ever proper Warhammer tournament, and like my second, third and fourth game, my 10th edition was on Saturday as well.
Cool.
Run by Donegal Dice Winners, my local gaming club. It was a very emotional and physically demanding day. Like I've only played like a couple of games of Warhammer ever, and that was like 9 hours of just pure Warhammer, man. It was. So I'm working on that. And my daughter's coming home from England on Monday, and I said to her that I would paint her a Sisters of Silence, because she's playing some board game over in St Helens where she's studying, and she's using her dice as her figure. So I said I'd paint her a Sister of Silence for her board game. So
cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. And I think I've got a couple of Age of Sigmar stuff there, just like to do something different as well. Do you play much 40k yourself? Do you play at all, or is it just the painting aspect?
I started, so like I don't know, the bookcase behind us somewhere. I've got like the original Rogue Trader book, which I don't even now. I probably don't even understand the rules for. So going back to like when I was a kid and I wanted to get into it and play loads. There was like nobody. There's just me and the lad I knew called Matt, and then he had a lad I think he knew another kid in his class at school, or his junior school that he went to, called James or something, who occasionally would be interested. But between the three of us, there was not like, there was no availability to play, so just like knocked it on the head. And it wasn't until lockdown started to ease off that I came across Josh as Three Spires Gaming, and went into those guys. And it's there that I started playing. So I played I didn't do too bad playing a few games in 9th. And I played about 4 or 5 games in 10th. And I can't catch a break. It's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, basically. So short answer to your question is, do I play Warhammer badly? Yeah.
It's just so much to remember. Like, I think it was like, for myself, when I was playing on Saturday, it took me until the third game, halfway through, I think it was like turn 2 or turn 3 when I actually read my data card properly that Mortarion has Feel No Pain five ups. I didn't realise that up until like that the end of that, like midway through the third game, and Mortarion had been absolutely melted against Custodes in the first game. Like he get totally destroyed. Like, but it's just those three things. Like trying to remember all your rules and what like enhancements you've gave your units, and trying to like remember the roles. It's a lot to take on. Like, and so I had the referee tortured on Saturday. He would have deserved a few pints of Guinness when I went home on Saturday, but it was a long day, an absolutely long day.
No way. No. I echo that. I mean, I played. To be fair, probably my last game in ninth. So we had again in like our gaming club, we had a league running, and it obviously when ninth changed to 10th, the league wound up, and Josh in our club has let us organise a tournament for 10th. So instead of just like an inter-club an inside the club tournament, so instead of doing it just as a league, I'm doing it as like a World Cup or the Euros. So everyone's in groups, and then the groups get through to the knockouts and so on.
Cool.
And that's been quite. To be fair, like I know I'm going off on a tangent, but the kind of fun bit with that was I've done it as like an old Dawn of War style game, like Dark Crusade or something. So written a bit of a narrative about what planet we're on or what system we're in and why we're there. And then everyone had to tell me their factions, and I've tried to write a little paragraph for each of the factions to say why they're there. And then as the groups get to the end, I'll probably try and do a little bit to like just sort of big up the quarterfinals and semi-finals and stuff. My first game, I think my last game in ninth, my first or second game in 10th, around this sort of time, like basically, like, you know, like you were saying, like try and remember your rules, remember all your rules. Remember your units. I've played both of those my last game was really close. Last game of ninth, which was really close. I didn't drop. I played at like, I don't know, 100 odd points less than what I should have done. You just see like little 1,000-point games. I played 900 points. Remember to put all your units down. And then I've done it again recently. So remembering roles is way above like my potential at the minute.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's definitely going to take probably until like 15th edition for me to start remembering stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just a bit of fun at the end of the day as well, isn't it? Like it's not as if it's like when we had Chaos Lordbeard on Sunday. Like, I asked him a question at the end, like, do you ever see like a World Cup happening like within Warhammer, like so that the best players from all over the world meet somewhere and like do a kind of World Cup? I think that'd be pretty smart, like just to watch. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that'd be pretty smart to watch.
Yeah,
and then we could do like the Euros.
Yeah. It'd be good if you got good access. You just pick their brains about stuff. Because I kind of
definitely.
I like that element of it. So it's like, okay, it's kind of like roll it. It's kind of like fun rolling dice and having a load of banter. But actually picking the brains and like you, certainly the guys that do you over and the people that beat you, it's like picking their brains afterwards. What were you thinking? What were you thinking here? How did you do this? What did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, do I think it will help me? Nah, probably not. But it'd be quite interesting to know.
It's kind of like I used to play chess when I was younger, and it's kind of like whenever you played like in a chess competition or played a couple of chess matches, like you could always tell where you lost the game, and I would always discuss it with the people, like what made you, when did you know that you had me, and it would always be what opening are you using, or like the middle game. I think like you've got to ask these things. That's how you improve as a player in anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Weirdly, I like played for the chess team at school and like house competitions.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I used to play for my local YMCA, and and I think I was like 14, 15 at the time. And I told my science teacher, because he ran a chess club in the school, and I said to him, I said, I'm playing in this competition tonight. And he's like, where is it? I said, oh, it's just outside Glasgow. And he's like, wear your school uniform. And I was like, He says, see if you turn up in your school uniform, it's instantly going to put your opponent off. He's going to just think, oh my god, I'm playing some sort of chess prodigy. And I wasn't good at chess, but like when I turned up in my school uniform and played this guy, like I beat him. And he's like, what would you wear your uniform? I said, oh, my science teacher told me to do it because they said it would beat you. And he's like, well, aye, that's right.
No way, no way. That's class.
Yeah,
Right.
I was brilliant. Just a bit of psychological warfare there. So, like, see, you were saying that you're doing a wee narrative, like, so see when you do your own painting, is it like a homebrew chapter that you've made up yourself with its own lore, or are you just following like a specific faction?
Both. So, like the Celestial Lions guys, they've got their own lore, and I've kind of like taken my own lore from the current Celestial Lions lore, and then just sort of, I don't know, expanded on it and tried to like bring threads of lore together to forge my own. And then my other ones, my Blood Angels, they're just like they're just Blood Angels, normal as per normal, but the within them, I'm probably gonna, I don't know, I've kind of like flirted with it a little bit in developing a lore for the actual like company and what they're up to, and I'm not quite thought it all through yet. I think I've got an idea for what I want as a chaplain and as a captain, and some lore for them, but I don't know. It kind of like comes and goes. That I'm like be on a tangent. Oh yeah, it's a wicked idea. I'll do that, and then like frantically write or type away, and then I'll stop and be like, nah, what are you doing? You're wasting time. Just paint, and then I'll just go and play, or I'll go and kit bash them. So just kind of yeah. Short answer to your question is yes, but is it like any sort of definitive lore that I could describe to anyone yet? Nah, not quite at that point. It's just sort of ideas in my head.
I mean, that's a good way to start because, like, I'm a big Death Guard painter and I'm painting Necrons, and I'm looking now to start going into like Grey Knights. Like my Necrons I've given them their own like dynasty name and they've got their own colour scheme, and it was the same with my Death Guards. And I had a few Space Marine units, and I was going to paint them up and keep them. My lore was that the Death Guard that I have was called the Argyles, which was the British Army regiment that I was in when I was younger, and the Space Marines were all loyalists because they were always loyalists before they became before they turned to chaos. But the surviving members of the Space Marines that I had, were a company that had got lost in the warp, and they never recruited, but they were always trying to hunt down the Argyles that they were attached to as part of their lore, just to kind of redeem themselves and die the Emperor. But then I ended up getting far too many Space Marines, and I was like, I can't really be bothered painting them. So I sent them to Penge, and then so I just said that they just get finally defeated, and that was it. But I still try and keep my Death Guard colours to my Argyle faction within the Death Guard, because that's like my own regiment before they got disbanded. Like, but yeah, like I do enjoy hearing people's like lore and like where their ideas are going, like when they're doing their own homebrew, because I think it makes it your own, where you're not just painting Ultramarines, but if you're doing your own wee spin on it, then it's a wee bit more interesting. Well, it is for me anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, the Blood Angels, the tangent of lore that I'm working on is that, and it's like bear with me, it's like a proper random tangent, is that the captain wears like an amulet of some description that he's kept from, before he was like taken and inducted, but the material of this amulet, or this like keepsake that he's got, that he's like he's hidden from everybody, that he's kept hold of it from his like former life, if you like, is made of black stone that obviously the fortress is made of, and apparently that, I can't remember now, it either enhances or suppresses like psychic powers or psychic auras, and he's completely oblivious to this fact, there's like some crazy Eldar Farseer that's clocked onto it because they're after that piece of Blackstone or that amulet 'cause it's significant to them, and they're chasing them. The only thing this captain has realised that he is a calming influence to the Death Company because he's like he's super calm, and because this Blackstone suppresses something or it has a psychic aura effect. And I've not kind of worked it through in my head really, but instead of them being like raging vampires and cannibals, him and his company are ostracized because they're like calm and methodical.
Mm-hmm.
They're really effective. So they've kind of been exiled because of this, but actually secretly, like Dante, Mephiston, and Chief Apothecary for the Blood Angels, who I can't remember the name of, Corbulo, they're all in league in saying that actually outwardly we've exercised them and they're like doing something away from what everyone else is doing because they go against the grain of what we are as a chapter, but keep a close eye on them because like they could be the solution to the Black Rage.
That sounds super cool, man. That sounds as if you flesh out a bit, it'll be absolutely fucking phenomenal. Like,
I mean, I've got bits and like the thing is, I don't sit and think. Sometimes I'll sit and I'll think it through and I'll plan it as like so this person linked to this happened and that happened, and I get bored with that. As I said earlier, I'll get bored with it, and then I'll think I'll write like little narratives and passages for the characters, and then I'll start that, and then I'll get bored, and then I'll decide that I want to go and paint something else again. So, but yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. In a nutshell, my lore is I've basically created a company of Blood Angel wimps.
calm as Hindu cows. So, do you paint anything other than Warhammer stuff? Have you branched out into anything else to push yourself? Like,
Nah, only because I haven't bought any stuff really. Nah, just Warhammer. I suppose the most diverse stuff I painted really recently. Sorry, are all the random things in Blackstone Fortress. But again, it's still Citadel miniatures or GW miniatures or Warhammer miniatures or whatever. Nah. How about you? Are you just stick to your armies and factions, or
I'm just sticking to. Like, I got a fake Mortari, which I call for off a guy in my local gaming club that I call Fake Tarian, and I painted him up. I mean, painting something that big was a bit of a challenge because I think the biggest model I painted was probably Typhus. So like pushing myself to paint something in a bigger scale was pretty cool. Like, but yeah, I'm kind of just, I don't see anything that I want to paint as of yet. Like, I'm kind of getting obsessed with the Grey Knights. I just love the lore. Like, I love lore. So, like, I'm maybe some more Necron units, but I just don't like the ones that have all the twirly things because I tried to build the Psychomancer and that was just a disaster. That was a nightmare.
Nah.
I really wish I didn't start the Necrons because the flayed ones were a nightmare. The Psychomancer was an even bigger nightmare, and I bought a Hexmark, and apparently he's an even bigger nightmare than the other two put together. So, but here. But see, since you've came back to the hobby, have you not noticed a massive difference in the paint quality than what it used to be, like from back in the day?
The quality of painters and painting is like unbelievable. It's kind of weird because I set up my account here on Insta. I was like, yeah, I'll use it just for inspiration. So I follow people that kind of do paint, and kind of finding and feeling my way back into the hobby after like so many years. And don't get me wrong, after like I was about, I don't know, 12, 13, I maybe didn't paint I didn't paint any kind of miniature or model of any sort of description until 2020. I mean, I did. You could argue that I painted in up to A-level art, but like badly. But the standard of the, so I don't feel like I'm skilled enough to be able to say, oh, that's a decent paint, that's a nice paint, or that's a bad paint or anything. I find that the variety of paints and the range is like unreal, and like contrast paints where you paint it and if you get it kind of right, it sinks in the recesses and gives you a nice touch. I quite like that. Monstered a few miniatures using contrast paints, trying to learn how to use it. But it's mad. It's mad. I mean, I remember like old school, especially like my points of reference going as a kid was, buying like White Dwarf. So that was your only point of reference. And did I do a games day? I think, yeah, I did. I think I went to a games day at some point at the NEC, like 90 something. And then like Delusions of Grandeur, I remember at the bargain box from the Games Workshop in Birmingham for like £1 or something. I bought this little metal blister pack of, I don't know what they were. They were like kind of like Rogue Trader characters, but one of them was like this really weird cyborg. It got his arms in the air, and like half of it was metal and half of it was obviously like, well, human. And at the time, it was like the most amazing thing I'd ever painted in my entire life. And probably looking back at it, it's probably like awful. But I took it and entered it into like the Golden Demon. Had it displayed in the Games Workshop case. And a few years later, I never even got it back. So a few years later, it probably dawned on me that, oh my God, what on earth are you doing, lad? Just leave it. So I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. But I think
you probably get Simon and Penge when they're watching back and they're screaming at the phones what that figure is, because like I'm new to Warhammer in the aspect of like editions and like the lore. Like I've only been reading I've been reading the books, but I hadn't really get into Warhammer because like where I was from, it was only really the rich boys that played Warhammer. So like Hero Quest and Space Aid and Battle Masters was as far as I got. So like I never got into the Warhammer because I was just too poor really. So this is where it's good to have like Casey and Simon on, because they'll remember. Simon remembers everything from 1983 onwards, I think. You know what I mean? So they would know exactly what model and how much it was and how tall it was and how thick it was. Whereas I'm just like that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Actually, I don't remember the model at all.
Nah. I mean, it's mad, was it? I suppose it was pretty pricey when we were kids, wasn't it? Although, to be fair, I saved up, man. I saved up like my paper round money to buy a box of Mark 7 Marines and I remember doing it again to save up and buy a box of metal Terminator Marines, and then pretty much everything else I either had as a present, so like the plastic boxes I mentioned earlier, or I went rooting around in like the bargain bin and was buying like the blister packs for 99p, which ironically those blister packs are probably worth a couple of £100 on eBay now, which
probably.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got that survived.
For me, it was Sabutio. Like it was Hero Quest, and like me and my mates getting into Sabutio in a massive way. Like we would just go and buy Sabutio kits. Like I never open them because you'd like buy like a box that had like black and white strips in it, and it'd be like 15 teams. We went through a stage of just buying Sabutio kits for some reason. The things you do when you're younger, when you get pocket money and you're not drinking yet, you go and spend it in Sabutio.
Sabutio was quality. I remember, my mate organising a World Cup for us around his house. It like obviously led to fisticuffs because you always end up getting a bit too competitive, don't you? But Sabutio was great fun.
Oh, Sabutio was like like kids don't know the dexterity of being able just to flick it properly. Like it was a skill in itself. Let's be honest, like that was a skill in itself. It all started to be like playing liney when you were wee, and then it went on to Sabutio then. But I love Sabutio. My mate had a big proper pitching with a stand and all. You couldn't actually get into the state. You couldn't actually play it because it had like proper like stands and like TV cameras and all that. You can tell he was like the youngest of like 4 children, but he was like the youngest by about 15 years. He was definitely like a night of passion with his old pair. He was definitely the accident of the family. But like he,
Nah, no way. No, that's the beauty. It was good. It's beauty. Weirdly, in like the group chat of the lads that I grew up with, we had there's a bit of a reminisce and like digging out and sending her photos of like old toys and stuff. And Subbuteo came up in that, and like a massive tangent of chat of tournaments that we'd organise and like sulks that various people had when they'd beaten others. And like I remember one mate was target number one because he just and like we had to build some kind of like you're saying earlier, turn up in your school uniform. We had to build some sort of psychological warfare to try and beat him. So we decided we'd have home and away legs, and like the away goals count kind of thing, because he was just like he was just better than all of us, and that we managed with doing that. We managed to get an element of an edge and start to be able to beat him by saying, "Oh, the pressure's on. You're going to look to get an away goal. You're playing at my house tonight. Like, you don't get an away goal, it'll count as double if I score," and all that.
away goal rules. Oh, like it's like you play Subbuteo and then you end up playing. You ever play sensible soccer back in the day?
Yeah.
Like that was a game where I just did not. I couldn't swerve the ball. Like my mate James, who had the Subbuteo set, he could swerve the ball from his 18-yard line into my goal for some reason. I'm like, how are you doing this? Well, you just need to do this and this. And I'm like, oh man, I hated sensible soccer, but I love sensible soccer, but I hated it at the same time.
Yeah. Nah, we were similar. Like sensible soccer, there was a way to play, and then as soon as there was a way not to play, which was basically the way that everybody played because it was impossible. But then there was a point where, like, me and my mates say, "I've broken the lock now," and then suddenly you'd like master the touch of being able to line up just on that angle to hit it straight, or to be able to whip it in at a crazy angle, and it'd just go straight in the top corner, and then it was just rage inducing.
Oh, at times I used to storm out his house, and storm home, which was what across the road. And just mum, like, what's wrong with you? He's cheating again. Sensible soccer. Fucking sensible soccer. I hated it, man.
Yeah. Do you remember the cricket one?
I don't remember the cricket one. Was that Brian Lara's cricket or was that a computer game I'm thinking of?
Brian Lara was the computer game. I remember that as well. But the board game, it was kind of like the bowler's arm was on a bit of string and you pulled it and it flipped it up and rolled it down, and the fielders were like, their legs were folded around like that to catch it. I never had it again. One of my mates had it to play around his, but I remember that one as well. That was another one that was good fun until like the edge went, and then it was just like a sulk.
I think growing up in Paisley in a council estate in a block of flats, if I pulled out a cricket game, I think my mum would not only just disown me, I think my grandparents would also disown me if I pulled out a cricket game. Just a cricket mother. I think I'd be kicked out and be absolutely disowned. Let's be honest, like, because Scotland does not fucking play cricket.
No, that's true. That's true. wrong game to mention to a Scot, maybe.
So just going back to Warhammer a wee bit, right?
Yeah.
So was it because of lockdown that got you? You touched on it earlier. Was it just purely lockdown that got you back into the Warhammer, or were you reading the books and the lore beforehand, and then getting through that avenue?
Weirdly, the books have never gone away. So, I mean, I've still got a few of them on there behind me. From about 2000 and I reckon about 06, 07, something like that. There's a lad I worked with, and he was in the coffee room. And he got like Horus Rising or something, or one of the first 3 Dan Abnett books from the Horus Heresy, was like, oh wow, what's that? And he told me, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And then from then, I just like religiously read loads of them. I don't know, I read about the first 20 or so of the Horus Heresy books, thought they were awesome. And then like branched off into just going to the library and getting loads of, I bought a few in the end. Other just kind of like mainly 40k books to read. So I sort of kept, I suppose, I kind of kept myself involved in it through. I kept myself involved in the lore, like from I don't know about 06, 07. But then going into lockdown, a bit before lockdown, in my other half, she'd mentioned about wanting to get into board games. I was like, oh, brilliant, cool. Like I've got Hero Quest in the loft. Let's have a mess about with that. I ain't touched it for years. We bought some board game called Cosmic Encounter. And I think it'd be great fun, but it's the kind of game that you have like a few people around, you have a few beers, and it's more like negotiating and than actually, you know, having a board and a game and characters on a board and rolling and developing a narrative. It's more like a game of negotiation, as in, like, I'm going to try and hustle you to give me some your counters so we can like shaft the person to our right.
Okay.
And we're both like, oh, this is a bit underwhelming. So like, put it back on eBay and got rid of it. Then I'd flirted with Hero Quest. Like, oh, well, why don't I get Blackstone Fortress, because it's the updated version? And then that led us to buy Blackstone Fortress. I think I got that about 2 or 3 weeks before the national lockdown, so sort of end of Feb 2020. Decided we'd paint it. So like just Google, you know, quick painting guides, how to paint. Stumbled across the Midwinter Minis dude in his YouTube channel to help us paint them. And from there it was like, oh bloody hell, yeah, I remember doing stuff like this. Like dry brush or ink, or sorry, dry brush or wash. It's like, oh shit, yeah, using a wash. It's like using inks from like being a kid. I kind of, and it started to make that connection. And then as lockdown progressed, it was like, fuck it. It's just like, I mean, to be fair, the first Space Marine I painted ever, I think I posted it. It's probably on my stream somewhere, on my feed somewhere. I must have done. It's a Blood Angel. It's from the RTB01 box, and it's painted in like bright red enamel. It's just like horrific. So because of that, I was like, well, I flirted with painting some Crimson Fists and Imperial Fists. I was like, I'm gonna go back to my roots and just paint Blood Angels and just paint red. So, and
does your missus, has she joined you in the plastic track edition? Does she paint it at all, or is she just an enabler and was just let you buy away?
Kind of an enabler, more of a like, yeah, a passenger on the journey. So at first, like we did, to be fair, we spent a couple of evenings together painting most of the bad guys up in Blackstone Fortress. But then I think the novelty wore off quickly, and then the concept of the game wore off even quicker. It was like, nah, you're on your own with this. So it's, yeah, she's not into it. I keep trying to say, like, come to Nerd Rage Club, come to like 3 Spires with us on a Friday, or like to be fair, Josh has just set up, he's got a free room in a boozer in Lichfield City Centre, and on a Wednesday night, it's like, just come on, mentioned a couple of times, maybe not for the Wednesday, but you know, just come along, just chill, just like there's a few people there, it's quite nice, get out, maybe play some games, maybe not. But,
meet some more Warhammer Widows, do you know what I mean? Maybe she can get a wee stuff past the portrait code now. Warhammer Widows.
No way. Yeah, she'd be an advocate for joining that, defo.
And do you have any kids? Are your kids into it at all? Or are you kid free?
No, I don't have kids, so
lucky man.
No. I got a couple of nieces that I've got earmarked when they're a bit older. Me and my sister are both gonna like spam them with it. So, but no, be a really good excuse. Oh, let's just still do it as a family. Come on, enforced fun.
Right, so, like, is there any like models or like any characters that you would like to see like come out like from Games Workshop? Like, I keep banging on myself about. Like, I'd love to see like fallen angels or like updated Grey Knights because I've like they look tiny compared to the models now. But is there anything that you would like to see yourself, like Games Workshop, make?
Oh man, I don't know. I wouldn't mind. No, essentially, I don't have any preference. I'm quite happy to be like a bit cynical about what they release and say I don't like it. I'd like. I like to be fair. I really like the idea of the Fallen that you mentioned. Them doing an actual kit for the Fallen. Sorry, our lights just turned off. I think that's a quality idea because I mean where you could go with the Fallen is like just amazing with the lore, and then like I say the lore, but just as a stimulus for our own individual imagination to go and like buy shit and just kit bash and paint up and build. And if they did a range, you know, that'd just break the ice. Like, yeah, it'd be a proper icebreaker.
Can I just turn off? Sorry to interrupt, but just can I just turn off and hear what ADHD man says? He says he got his son his first few bits of his first Orc army. Would you venture into any other factions, or are you just happy with Space Marines, or are you your eyes marked on something else?
Nah. I've got so I painted up all the Necrons from the Indomitus box. So I've got around 1,000 points of Necrons, and they were great fun to paint. So am I just a Space Marine fanboy? Nah, I'm kind of up for, like, for ages I was tempted with committing to and buying and building an Eldar army, but I've never I've not had that spark of imagination to think, what do I want to do with it that's going to make me really want to keep painting them. I bought a box of Orcs, or a couple of boxes of Orcs, and thought like Orcs could be wicked, you know, like crazy tangents of, again, just keep bashing stuff and having loads of stuff around them. And I built the boss knob and like tried to paint him in like, I don't know, I was thinking like some sort of farmhand in denim dungarees, and that was as far as I got. I painted him in some dungarees with like a big, you know, rusted power claw, and then just left it. So I'm kind of, yeah, I suppose if the mood takes me and the vibe takes me, then I'm quite happy to have a bash at anything. But I suppose having a Space Marine army that I try to play badly in 40k kind of commits me to build and paint in that respect.
So usually we have like 3 joke questions, right? And I can only use the joke questions on you this week because our Sunday guest isn't wanting a couple of questions to be asked, which is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. So as you know, I fucking hate the Beatles, right? I fucking can't stand the Beatles. So yeah, big Beatles fan. Do you have a tattoo of John Lennon and Paul McCartney on each bum cheek or something? Or are you the equal?
No, I mean, like, I don't dislike the Beatles. I think the Beatles are quality, but for me, the Stones or Hendrix are just like a million times more cool.
Oh, Hendrix for me, like he was something else. Like,
yeah.
I just feel like the Beatles are just too. I don't even like the Rolling Stones, man. I just think it's Mick Jagger's mouth. He's got a mouth like fucking Alanis Morissette and fucking your man for Loving in the Elevator. Oh, what's his name? Steve Tyler. Do you know what I mean? Oh, fucking mouths are so fucking big. Like, I just feel they're just over. I think that what's the word I'm looking for? I can't really think. There's just too much fanboy about the Beatles. Do you know what I mean? It's just like they were alright, but they weren't like. I just don't. I think there's just too much played up in them. Do you know what I mean? But,
yeah, you don't look convinced by them at all. No, I like them. I do like them. I mean, more for me, like the Stones, the Who, Hendrix, the Small Faces, that sort of stuff. It's just like, yeah, they're loads better bands. Or for me, they're more inspirational bands. But
so if if Games Workshop came out with a female Space Marine box set, would you be for the female Space Marines or against the female Space Marines?
Uh, non-plus, really. Neither. I think. No, not first. I mean, if they were done well and they look cool, then awesome. But if they were shit, you just wouldn't buy them. So no, I don't mind.
See, my lore is ever evolving with the female Space Marines because I'm now a firm believer. You had to hear first, folks. That the two Lost Legions were female Space Marine legions, and the Emperor knew that Horus was going to betray him, so he sent them to a far-off land and expunged all records because he knows that when he came back from the dead as the Star Son or whatever mentalness that he was coming back as, because he's forever. What do you call it? An ever being, what we call them, perpetual. He's a perpetual. He can never die. Because dads always go with their daughters, and mummies are always for their boys. That he knew he'd have the back his two daughters that will come back and kick ass. That's what I believe. I don't mind. Like, it's a bit of fun at the end of the day. Like, I don't understand why people get their knickers and their twist about fucking female Space Marines. Who gives a fuck, man? It's a fucking fantasy game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when people kicked off about Rey, me being one of them. Like, Rey should have took no damage at all in those Star Wars films, and she was stronger than fucking Darth Vader. No, bullshit. And my final question, right? My final question is the big question: Fulgrim, nonce or not nonce?
Oh, I'll raise you. He's just a bell end. He's just like a self-absorbed, narcissistic bell end.
So basically, like English high society.
I mean, you could say he's related to Boris, yeah? If that's what you're implying.
Yeah, he's a Boris of 40,000. Oh man, like, I think this question started with, I think it was Penge was going, oh, Fulgrim's definitely a nonce. I mean, just look at all that Swinesh stuff. He's a space Jimmy Savile. You've banged on right there. ADHD is definitely the 40k version of Jimmy Savile. And how did we not realise that Jimmy Savile was a nonce? How did we not realise that as children?
Hiding in plain sight. That's brilliant.
And thank God he never fixed it for any of us, to be fair.
Yeah. That's awesome. He's even got the right kind of hair. That's
I know.
Nice.
And he's dressing, and did Jimmy Savile not have a fucking purple tracksuit? Did Games Workshop fucking make Fulgrim the Jimmy Savile of 40k? Now I think about it, if you just said the white hair, the dodgy tracksuit, always smoking a cigar, don't know if Fulgrim was a smoker or not, but he probably was, like. Oh, that's a good one. ADHD, you have smacked it in the nose there, my friend.
That's bang on. That's class. Yeah.
That's my Games Workshop, you sneaky bastards. They were trying to tell us from the 90s that Fulgrim was a nonce and Jimmy Savile was a nonce.
Yeah. But if you think about your law, so if the Emperor, like all-seeing, omnipotent, knows this and is aware of this and knows of his fall, then absolutely he's going to send his daughters away.
Exactly. See, up there for thinking, down there for dancing.
You know, like thinking. Are they
100%.
Venom then?
Definitely not touching my daughters. Send them away. You can take Rolf Harris with you as well, do you know what I mean? Apparently, we've got Infernal Miniatures who's in the chat. He's coming on in December 20th. He was on Funhouse, so we'll find out if Pat Sharp touched him or did he touch the twins. That'll be you need to tune in for that. Because I'm saying to Inferno that when I was in school, there was a girl in my school that went on Funhouse, and till I left school, anytime she walked in a corridor, all you heard was Funhouse. She was known as the Funhouse girl, and she just slagged off forever for it. And I asked Inferno, Richard, I says, did you get any slagging? And he went, I was known as the Funhouse boy in my school. And I was like, why did you just go on, man? Like,
jeez.
Mate, I did want to go on Nightmare. Do you remember Nightmare back in the day?
Was that like where they put that hat on the kid or something? Yeah,
Aye.
yeah. That sounds
Where
terrifying.
am I? You're in a room. There's a guy with a purple tracksuit and white hair sitting on a throne. I never seen anybody complete that game. They always get wiped out in the second or third show because they chose to take the gold, or instead of taking the bread, and they inevitably starved to death for some reason.
Yeah, I don't recall the winner. I remember. Am I thinking about the right one? There was a guy like in some medieval outfit. He had an immaculately manicured beard. Immaculate beard, like. So if you're from medieval times, mate, you're not. It's not going to be that manicured, mate.
And then,
Seriously.
and then in later shows, he had like a kind of elf helper at some point as well, like some sort of gimp he had, and like sitting at his feet. Careful, Dungeoneer! There's trouble afoot, and you'd always hear like the dodgy music coming on.
Yeah, I do remember it. ITV, I think.
It must have been done in a massive warehouse, because like, how else would you just like have this kid couldn't he see where he was going, just walking in circles? It must have been done in a warehouse. They should bring that back. That would be brilliant.
Yeah, with a bit of Squid Game-esque Jeopardy, maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely. Have you been watching the Squid Games, the challenge thing on Netflix?
Nah. Is it good?
It's pretty good. That's for a guy from Donegal on it. We've got to watch the last few episodes. Only one guy from Ireland got on the show, and he was from like the county that I live in just now. But it's quite good to watch. A lot of like scheming and conniving going on behind, like after the games and during the games. It's pretty good. Like, it's quite funny.
Oh, that sounds cool, man. Might have to give it a watch.
So, have you got anything on your Santa wish list for anything 40k from your better half this year, or have you been a good boy?
Don't know. No, nothing yet. I haven't really given it any thought. To be fair, I'm not long on my birthday, so Christmas is like not. It's not a thought yet. I'm just allowed to start thinking about Christmas because I had my birthday last week. So,
oh, happy birthday!
Cheers, man. So yeah, I haven't thought about anything. What do I want on my hit list? I don't know. Basically, kind of time, more time to paint.
And how old were you last week, or how old are you currently?
How old are you? I turned 45 last week.
45, huh? That's me next year. I'm at 45 next year.
Cool. When's that?
May.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got quite a good birthday. It's like right bang in the middle of the year, so it's not too close to Christmas. It's not too soon after Christmas. So yeah, it's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent birthday, and it always falls on the May weekend as well, which is always good as well. So we always try and get a night away. Yeah. So
it's better than midwinter, a month before Christmas.
Oh, fuck that, man! Pure Baltic, and you can't see it's dark at 5 o'clock. Fuck that noise, man. I ain't cool with that. Do you have any plans for Christmas yourself? Do you have anything on the go?
Yeah. I mean, for our sins, we're hosting, so we've got 13 of us Christmas Day. Well, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. So it's gonna be absolute chaos.
And you turkey and ham people or pheasant?
Yeah, I mean, oh god, man, don't get me wrong, they're not all staying with us. Got like my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, and we're pretty much at capacity then. But got family coming from all over. They're all shacked up in the Premier Inn in Lichfield. It's only about 10 minutes away from us. So, but it'd be good fun.
You get them to do a like paint off. Just give them all a mini each and just do a paint off. And get through your plastic crack pile. Good way of getting through it, I suppose.
That's a good post-Christmas dinner game. It's better than a quiz, I suppose.
Yeah. You can paint the mini the best, and the belly starts flowing and the shots start sinking. Just paint everywhere.
I don't know. I might. Have I got what have I got that's expendable? My pile of shame that I can sacrifice.
Those orcs. You can get those orcs done. Get them out, bashed out.
Yeah, true.
Good way to start you're waiting in the 80s at this early stage, come on, it's fun, just keep painting it. I know you've been painting, I know it's primed and you get the mould lines off, but keep going, you'll get painting soon.
Keep doing it. No, I don't care. 6 o'clock in the morning, you've been at it for like far too long. Keep going.
Stop,
Come on.
stop stiffing the glue.
Oh, man. You got plans Christmas time?
I, well, I think one of the daughters is coming home next week for a week, and then our other daughter and her grandchild, and my grandchild, and our grandchild, they'll be coming over for Christmas dinner. But I think I've only got the Monday and the Tuesday off, and I'm back at work then, so just be quiet like it. Two of our daughters are in England, so it's pretty quiet now that the house that they're all up and out. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a son here, but you hardly see him now. He's at that age where his room's just a furnace and there's no heating on, and the electricity bill's through the roof. So you don't really see him now. He's too busy. But aye. So I was going to ask you there. Oh, what was I going to ask? Oh, I can't mind. Must have been a lie. My mind's went pure blank now. Yeah, and Fennel says a wash and a dry brush for everyone.
Yeah.
Top tips there. Top tips there from a man who's a commission painter for Green World stuff, something like that. And also pretty decent.
Nice. Yeah, I like his style.
Yeah, he's pretty good, isn't he? He's a decent bloke. For a guy that was in Funhouse, he's done well in life.
You can survive Funhouse. So I have a question about Funhouse. So like Pat Sharp and the mullet. So like how many litres of hairspray went into maintaining that mullet?
Yeah. And where did they touch Inferno? That's the main question. Where did it was filmed in Glasgow. I'm pretty sure it was filmed in Cowcaddens in Glasgow, Funhouse.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, right.
I'm pretty sure it's all filmed up in Glasgow. Inferno, did you get a trip up to Glasgow when you filmed Funhouse? Pretty sure it was.
Cool.
So would you be up for like a 40k TV series? Would that be the sort of thing? Would you be up for that if it's done well?
I think so. Yeah. I wouldn't say no. Like I suppose all those rumours about Henry Cavill and supposed executive producer on something that Amazon are working with. It's like it's got potential to be awesome, but then it's also got the potential to be terrible. I don't think you'll get anything in between, will you? It will either be mind-blowing or shite.
Yeah, it's going to be they need to get the CGI bang on, and it's going to have to just be. They're going to have to just throw money at it because it has to be amazing. I think for me personally, I would like it to be like an Inquisitor who does like, because I don't think like doing a Space Marine, maybe like hints of Space Marines, I don't think it would work visually unless you're doing that like kind of as they do with the promos for the games and that, it works for that. But I think as a live action thing, like I don't think it would work. I think you'd have to be Henry Cavill being an Inquisitor and hunting down witches or something, or doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Your Space Marines want to be like your shock factor, don't they? Like the story is just humans or humans, demons, and the shock factor of something appearing and being like absolutely spectacular and amazing is like a generic, hopefully not an ultramarine, but a Space Marine that appears and has a part in the story, but isn't part of the story.
Maybe appears in the end because like as the lore goes, like a space, like nobody sees a Space Marine. So it's like even the Imperial Guard, it's very rare for them to see one. So you'd have to kind of keep that mysticism, maybe till the last couple episodes or something.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
No, I think that's right. They're like, these like mythical angels of death.
Yeah.
So, episode 1, series 1, episode 1, minute 5, you've got a Space Marine there rocking his stuff. That's gone. So I'm with you. You need to not, you need to build, and the story's like they're about there and things are happening, and maybe you have flashbacks to them, so they are kind of, you see them and you'll see some parts of them or something to do with them, but you don't ever actually see until you're so far invested in it one of them, and then it's like, well, it's more lore specific then, isn't it? More lore accurate.
Yeah, like even if you did like a Chaos Space Marine instead of an actual Space Marine coming through, you'd be expecting a Space Marine, but you wouldn't be expecting a Chaos Marine or something like that. So some of that kind of shock value where he's investigating, but like a Perry Mason in space type deal.
I mean, to be fair, you could have the Orcs from day one because they're just football hooligans, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, like
just Crystal Palace and Millwall fans are into the Orcs.
I ain't gonna disagree.
Who do you support? Are you a football fan? Who do you support?
They're rather not very mighty Birmingham City. So we're going through the debacle of having Rooney as our manager.
He might do a decent job, like.
You reckon? I think I'm kind of annoyed. It's typical Blues all over. So we've struggled. We've got a manager in, which was the guy Eustace before. Basically told him there's no money. You can like scratch around for some free transfers, invest in your youth squad. We were crap. Then he's kind of found us some form and some consistency, and we started to be good. And then they sacked him, and then they brought Rooney in, and Rooney's just like, I'm not convinced. The only good thing about Rooney coming in is on his coaching staff, he's got Ashley Cole, and Ashley Cole's apparently one of the under-21 coaches. So I'm quite keen to see if he has any influence. But yeah, we're just kind of, I don't know, a bit of a laughing stock at the minute. Certainly with our vile rivals up in the Champions League spots in the Premier League, it's harder to take. So
yeah, you're not like the only club to have won like a domestic trophy and get relegated in the same season. You beat Arsenal in the League Cup, didn't you? That's like Alex McLeish era.
Yeah, oh man, that season. Alex McLeish is ridiculous. I don't think we're the only club to win silverware and get relegated. I think we're in an exclusive group. I don't think we're the only one. But man, that McLeish team. To be fair, he got us a result. We went to Tottenham, we won 3-2. This was not long. It was around the time we won the cup, so we were proper down in the mire. We're going like threat of being relegated. Instead of playing like 4-4-2 or 3-5-2 or something, he played 6 at the back. Played 4 full-backs, like 2 right backs, 2 left backs. Man, this is ridiculous. It's terrible football. Lovely bloke. McLeish is a lovely bloke. But just
actually, she said Gary O'Connor got injured and was out for like 3 or 4 weeks, but had failed a drugs test, and that's why he was apparently injured. Because he actually said that is like Gary O'Connor. There's a podcast in Scotland. There's a guy. Oh, I can't remember the guy's. My head's away with it today. But the guy is a professional. He used to be a professional footballer. He never hit the heights of like Gary O'Connor and all that. Simon Ferry, sorry, that's his name. And he does a podcast and he interviews all these like Scottish players. He's interviewed Andy Robertson and he's interviewed everybody. And he kind of knows them through like the youth setup. And he interviewed Gary O'Connor and he was asking about like his time in Russia. He said his time in Russia was mental. He said that when he was playing for Lokomotiv Moscow, he got like paid. He says he never get paid how you would normally get paid. He says it was like random amounts. So like one day he never got any money for 2 weeks, and he went and said to the manager, and the manager says, "Don't worry about it. You'll get your contract. Don't worry about it. Believe me, don't worry about it." And then he said on the Monday he got like 80 grand, and then 3 days later he got 150 grand. And apparently that's how these Russian teams work, is that when they get money in, they just start paying people out. And then he says he got the offer to go to Birmingham, and he kind of just went downhill there with the drugs and all that then as well. But I remember you beating Arsenal and then getting relegated, and it was like, imagine winning a cup, being so happy, and also suffering relegation as well. No, nothing worse, man, than getting relegated. Like,
it was shit. It was shit. It was horrible. It was. I think we beat Villa in the quarters or the semis. I think the quarterfinals, which was amazing. But yeah, the going down arc was. It was just painful. It just felt like the team had like put everything into trying to win the cup, and then when they did that, they won it. They're like, oh yeah, brilliant. And then I don't know, something went on. It felt like something went on, and then they just couldn't catch a break. But yeah.
Did you spent some crazy money in players as well? Did you not have the Swedish boy Larsson at one point as well? No.
Yeah, at some point we had like Seb Larsson.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, one of our best midfield pairings ever was Barry Ferguson and Lee Bowyer. They were awesome. Who else did we have? We had Christoph Dugarry for a while. We had Gary O'Connor. We had Gary McSheffrey.
You had some like top players like at the time as well. You had some decent players like.
Yeah. I suppose in between having those decent players, the rest were just not much cop, or they were like the end of their journey.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, man. I need to wrap up here because time's ticking and I need to take my dogs out. My dogs are very, and it's absolutely bolty, so I need to get them out. Yeah, man, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on. Really appreciate you giving up your time and coming on and speaking nonsense to myself. Is there anything you want to add before we go? Where can we find you and all that sort of stuff?
Where can you find us? I suppose I can't remember the name of my channel, my account. It's Who's That Gutlord Painting, just on Instagram. I'd say I'm exclusively only on Instagram, but it's mainly because I can't be asked to like have a YouTube channel or do anything else. So it's, if you want to be bored by someone who's like relatively old painting red Space Marines, then that's the spot to be.
I would say, man, I do enjoy the stuff that you paint, man, because it is nice, it's vibrant, and it's good to see it, man.
Oh, cheers.
Right, folks, that's us. Here, man, thanks very much for coming on. Folks, that's us for this week. Well, not for this week. We've got Duncan Roads on Sunday at 7:30. You can be there, be square. And all the best for the rest of your evening, folks. Again, thanks for coming on to Who's That Gutlord Painting. Enjoy your Wednesday, folks. Cheers, bye.
Cheers, mate. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.